credit team here talking interest rates today. We have Jason Culver, Will Sailors, and Andrew Schnorr. Jason, what's the latest with the interest rates?
Well, it sounds like inflation isn't quite where they want it to be, so odds are we're looking at another rate increase by the Fed at the end of the month.
And just for our viewers' purposes, for SBA 504, what is the current rate for the 25, 20, and 10-year, Will?
You got the 10-year at 7%, the 20-year at 6.6, and the 25-year at 6.5 for loans funding in July. And interesting enough, those peg off the 10-year bond, which today with those new inflation numbers is having a big move down 10 basis points. Yesterday it was 4%. Now we're looking at the 387 with that new inflation information. So market moving the 10-year bond down a little bit, but Fed is supposed to be hiking rates later this month again. So we'll kind of see how the market reacts with the 10-year bond and what ultimately the 504 rates do based off that.
Sure. Jason, what was the inflation information this morning? Do you recall, or Will, either one?
Well, they were talking about two different measures for inflation. One measurement, the overall inflation was actually pretty good. It was only about 3%, I believe. But there's another measurement that takes a few factors out of the equation. I believe they call that the core inflation number. And that was actually about 4.8%, so well above the Fed's target of 2%. And so that's what is ultimately going to lead to that next rate increase.
What is the probability of a rate increase on the 27th or 28th of July as they handicap those? Does any of you know? Do you know, Andrew?
I think it was like a 95%, so pretty much 100.
That's
for
going to happen.
25 basis point hike is what I've heard.
Sure.
It's the last I've seen.
Sure. And then I think our viewers would really find it interesting to know historically the interest rates. Let's just go back to January of 2023. Approximately what was the rate you could get on a 25-year note on a SBA 504 here at NEDCO in Lincoln, Nebraska, as opposed to what you're going to get? And you spoke about it earlier, if you were to find, say, this month. Will?
So the rate's been pretty steady this year through 2023, but if you go back a couple years to 2021, for example, June of 2021, we were funding 20-year loans at 2.7%. on the 20-year. So those have gone up dramatically over that 2-year span to, mid sixes right now.
Sure.
And interesting with the dramatic rate increases, what it's done to the 504 loan volume nationwide, compared to last year through May of the fiscal year, the number of loans nationwide for 504 is down 40%, number of loans, and then the dollar volume is down 35%. So overall, the industry is down 40% from May 2023 compared to May 2022.
Wow. Jason, when you work with individual borrowers and you note we're up from 2.7 fairly recently up to in the high sixes. What are their alternatives?
That's the
July
thing.
12th, 2023.
While our rates have increased dramatically, like you've said, they still remain below conventional financing levels. In the market for a conventional loan, at a minimum, you're going to be in the 8% range, and odds are more likely in the 9 to 10% range for most borrowers. So yes, we're above 6 right now, but we're still below market compared to conventional loans. And then in addition to that, I've been receiving multiple calls from people with 7As looking to refinance them into 504s because a majority of them are adjustable rates. And we're hearing a lot of people who have just seen their payments increase every single month as these rates have increased.
Mm-hmm. And then could Will and Jason and Andrew all could you speak to the to the refinancing possibilities of a 7A with a 504 and how that works? Just briefly.
So it's a relatively new change, and there are some rules that we have to adhere to, but that's a new thing with the SBA. You can never refinance a government loan with another government loan, at least from a 504 perspective. So now you can refinance a 7A loan with a 504 to bring your interest rate down and get a lower blended rate. So that's really nice. And then another thing that has changed, as long as you meet certain parameters, when if a borrower's concerned about them getting funded right now or shortly with a high interest rate, and then what if rates go down is a big question they ask, in a year, 2-3 years from now, you can refinance with the new 504 as long as you meet certain criteria, which aren't too restrictive. So that's a really good change the SBA has made, and probably a critical change moving forward to make sure that borrowers and business owners can get out of that high interest rate if they do drop.
Well, that's very interesting. Thank you. Jason, your comments on the refinance.
Yeah, it's a useful tool. We saw a lot of people lock in some great rates over the past few years, but now the rates have increased. A lot of those adjustable rate loans are easily in the 10% range. So when you're looking at locking in a long-term fixed rate that's lower than what they're already paying now, it just makes a lot of sense.
Well, that's a great option to consider on July 12th, 2023 here at NEDCO. Our credit team has brought some of the most important issues with interest rates to your attention. And this is our first episode of our YouTube channel. We'll be posting a show today and a show possibly tomorrow. Our shows are intended to be current to the day. And today we start off with interest rates, and I think you've got a lot of good information there. So thanks to Jason, thanks to Will, and thanks to Andy Schnorr. And this will be posted at our YouTube station. And look for the next episode. And thanks from the NEDCO team. That's nedco.org, www.nedcoloans.org. Thank you.